All right, then, everyone. We are live on YouTube on Aaron's Opinion TV, and we're going to start. And I'm going to start the audio for the podcast side in 3, in 2, and 1. Welcome back, everyone, to another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion. For all of you new people that are in my Zoom room and really have no idea who I am, hi, nice to meet you. Welcome to the universe. My name is Aaron Richmond. You're listening to Aaron's Opinion, and this is Aaron's Opinion TV on YouTube. I'm going to dive in. We're going to dive directly into the deep end on this one. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very, very honored to be joined this evening by VisionCast with JC and Friends, although JC's not with us, so we're joined by VisionCast with and Friends. Okay, so let's start at and plenty of laughs to be had along the way. Trust me when I tell you that. We're going to actually start with the manager of all of this, the director of chaos for all this, Stacy Paulson, who hates her last name. Go ahead in about one sentence or in about 30 seconds. Please introduce yourself, and then just go in any order you want until all of you from VisionCast have introduced yourselves. Go.
Thank you, Aaron. My name is Stacy, aka Crazy Stacy 25. I am the director and head producer of VisionCast with JC and Friends.
And I'm Preston Gaylor. I'm actually one of the founding fathers of said show. JC and we actually did do some tech stuff on internet radio from DJ Mac and Spreaker and KJSC many moons ago. More like 8 to almost 9 years ago. But we kind of wanted to bring this, we kind of wanted to revamp things and give another platform where all corners of the universe can associate a lot of tech, talent, fun, randomness, and whole 9 yards.
Thank you. Next person, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. My name is Nora from Phoenix, Arizona, and I've been a team member for the last few months of the VisionCast team, and I really appreciate being a team member and to the select program. It's wonderful, and it's been such. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes we have serious. We have laugh and cry, and we have seriousness and jokes and wonderful things like that when the VisionCast showcase happens, where we have come alive with music and wonderful tech things and things like that. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Next, go ahead.
Hello, this is Denny, aka H Streets, and on VisionCast with JC and Friends, you'll actually know me as Denny. I am one of the editors of the show, and as far as the stage name H Streets, that's because I make music. You can find my music on all major music streaming platforms by looking up H-Streets, and the same goes for YouTube. And this is a very exciting opportunity to pretty much expand our audiences. And this is extremely exciting.
Well, thank you. Okay, very good. And guys, you can click the link in the description, and you all can send me your links afterwards and things like that. But that is fine. All right, next up, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Denise, and yes, one account on this one. I am a new editor to the team. I don't have a lot of singles out, but you can definitely find me as Denise Barajas on YouTube or wherever you like to stream some of your music. As for anything else, I just did my first job editing this last episode for last week. and it's been fun. It's been great. Let's see. Anything else? Not that I can think of. But thank you so very much for the opportunity to certainly join you tonight.
My pleasure. Next person, go ahead.
Hi, George. I am Stacy's boyfriend and Haley's boyfriend as well. And I am actually the co-producer of Music Mayhem and a member of Vision Cast, which are both broadcast on Secret Mix Radio. And thank you to Donald Brown for that. We appreciate that so much. And that's about me.
All right, very good. Next.
Hello, Haley here. I'm a member of the Vision Cast team, and I'm Stacy's girlfriend and George's girlfriend. I have actually my own podcast, Blue Skies, the Blind Aviators podcast, can be found pretty much anywhere you watch podcasts, and on YouTube at The Blind Aviator.
Okay, very good. Is that everyone?
With
Philip.
one more, right? Yep.
Go ahead.
This is Philip from Los Angeles, California. Over here on the West Coast,
Yep.
who is also on the Vision Cast team as well.
Very good.
Hey, can you
And
hear me? Hello.
yeah. Oh, Penny, yes, we hear you, Penny. Could you please mute your
Hello.
microphone? Penny,
Yes,
could
will
you
do.
please mute, okay? And let's go to let's see. Preston, did you introduce yourself?
Yeah, he was second to
Okay.
speak.
Very good. Excellent. All right.
Yeah,
So has
I almost forgot to give my plugs. My burgers are ready. But so as far as what else I do besides the founding father, I also co-host another podcast called Radio Connection Live, where we discuss all issues in the radio industry, news, format changes, the whole 9 yards, and you can look for that where you get podcasts. And I'm involved with my local Lions Club and library.
So
do
good.
a lot of community service while I get back in the workforce in time. And I also do a radio show for 96 The Mix called Throwback Saturday Night every Saturday. So as you can see, I'm busy, but I would have it any other way.
And that's a very, very good thing. Yes, I'm familiar with 98.6 The Mix, KKMX, right? KKMX
Yes,
International, right?
That's
That
the one.
Yeah, I'm
Yep,
familiar.
awesome.
I'm familiar with it. This is very funny. I'm blanking on. Sadly, I apologize terribly, but I'm blanking on the person who I know. I know the owner of that station, and I've been blessed with so many guests. I actually who owns that station?
Herbie
Allen.
He actually
Herbie
comes on to the show quite a bit.
Yeah,
When
Herbie
he-
was on this podcast. Herbie was on Aaron's Opinion a few years back, as a matter of fact. All
Yeah,
right.
Herbie's
Well,
awesome.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
very awesome.
I'm sorry.
Go
Dan.
ahead. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Herbie has definitely made like many appearances on Vision Cast, and so yeah.
I've seen Herbie in different email lists across the board. So that's how I knew of him until one day he finally showed up to our podcast and I was able to finally put a voice to the name. So yeah, he's cool.
Very good. Very good. Let's break down some of the well, let's start with me asking you. So, we're all blind people from all over the world, really. But what pushed you over the edge to start Vision Cast? I'll tell you a little bit about what pushed me over the edge in starting Aaron's Opinion. I'm a teacher, and I was working like we all were during the pandemic. And I noticed that there's a lot of blind people all over Facebook who ask a lot of crazy questions. And I was answering their questions in the form of audio files. And then over time, it occurred to me that audio files are like a podcast. And that's how I came up with the concept of Aaron's Opinion. And only very recently has it developed to this, interview, long form interview style that we're doing now. But what pushed you guys over the edge to start up VisionCast?
So yeah, the way that this actually began was, well, with JC. He has actually had quite a bit of a history with broadcasting and stuff like that, and I've known the guy since high school, and he actually got together with Preston a bit after he left FSDB, Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. And we were roommates at the time. But yeah, he actually got together with Preston and in different forms of media, and so then over time, after trial and error, when it came to these different forms of media, he took a bit of a hiatus. But then
we kind of both did.
But then Preston actually approached him, and brought up the idea of bringing back some other form of media, podcasting, and so that's when that's when he actually informed them of Anchor, now Spotify for podcasters, and then first VisionCast with JC and Preston was formed, and then that's and then the team just got bigger and bigger and bigger. I came in, Denise came in, Stacy came in, George came in, and it just became more than just JC and Preston. It became JC and Friends.
JC and Friends. It became and Friends. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Aaron, if I can piggyback on what Denny mentioned,
sure.
We also had lots of contributors that come into the Zoom room along the way just to kind of do what we're doing now, just sit and talk, and they get to witness each podcast recording. So whatever we say goes out on all the feeds, and to this day, I don't have my Spotify app open, but we have anywhere from maybe 9 to I think 11 or maybe more thousand total plays, and some reviews here and there.
Excellent. Well, more
And I
power
think
to
our
you. So good.
Our Facebook presence is now at 370 or 80 likes. I got to go back on my business app for Meta and verify. But we definitely come a long way in the 3 years we've been doing this.
Right. Well, that's really great. Yeah.
A little bit over 2. It's not 3 yet.
Not quite.
No.
It'll be 3 in June.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not trying to rush it. I'm just saying it's a rich history.
All time.
Yeah, you can't rush the years there. Yeah. Yeah. So several of you have podcasts yourselves outside of and in addition to and in conjunction with VisionCast. One of you mentioned something about Blind Aviator podcast. That sounds really interesting to me. Tell me about your interest in that.
It starts long time ago, actually. And I remember when I had the Vision back in Flight Simulator 95, 98, I really started getting into it back then. And as years went on, FS 2004 came out, then FSX. And really it started when I had FSX. I started making videos on YouTube at that point. And over the years, it kind of has come and gone, and other things have kind of gotten in the way. And then more recently, what do you say, Stacey? In the past, 6 months, year? I've been talking about
Roughly about 6 months to a year.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I kind of started thinking, I had to resurrect my channel and do this differently. So I renamed it to Blue Skies the Blind Aviator. Blue Skies the Blind Aviator podcast, and decided to get it out there, expand where it goes besides YouTube. And now I'm doing full-on tutorials on how to do things. And with these PMDG airplanes that I'm flying now, for example, you have to pretty much know every single system and how to program the FMCs and.
Oh, that's very familiar.
Yeah. Sometimes you end up bashing your head against the wall because something doesn't work right. But yeah.
The fun part's the CDU. Oh, fun.
Don't get me started there.
So it's really ironic that you're bringing up this topic, because I also was a huge flight simulator person. 2004 X. Never really, the thing is that is something that I miss, having a Windows computer and getting into that hobby again. Of everything that I do. I don't know, but I'm just really, that is so good to know that there are other blind people who love that hobby as well.
It's expensive.
I have to ask you. So with your usable vision, and this is where it gets really interesting, and I'm sure you've rehearsed this answer. So, have you successfully flown on VATSIM?
I do all the time. That's the only way I fly now.
That's incredible. Okay. We're gonna have you, because I know a lot about it. I know a lot about that, as I'm also very familiar with it. Although I don't do it, I know I know of exactly what we're talking about here. So that's tremendous sense of inspiration to me. I really want to see you on VATSIM. I want to see you. I actually want to see you record a video, just like a lot of the other YouTubers do. We actually record a flight, and then I might have to request a flight path for you and tell you to fly from one place to another, just for my own entertainment.
Go right ahead at some point. And
you don't know what you're getting, Haley. You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh, okay? You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised.
You don't know me. You don't want me to start making requests.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
You really don't want to try me, because I've done 10, 12,
here's
14
the
hour
thing,
flights.
Aaron. You say that she doesn't know you, but I know Haley, and I've lived with her for over a year. I wouldn't put anything past her.
I'll go. Yeah, I wouldn't put anything past me.
All I was gonna say, Aaron.
Please do.
I recently started getting into flight simming. I'm not very I can't fly on my own. I'm getting taught by a really dear friend that sometimes does make appearances on the podcast.
Yes.
And so he's been teaching me some stuff along the way, but of course I have to be on this laser focus mode to do it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I just I can't. As far as I've gotten are about the stars and the SIDS and
stars
programming.
Yeah.
Going back to this friend of ours as Denise mentioned, made several appearances on the podcast. His name is Thomas. We both actually co-host on a podcast with him. The show is called Food for the Soul with Thomas Leonard. It's it's a very inspirational podcast, and he is big into flight simulators. In fact, in June he actually attended a flight expo, aviation expo.
It was,
And so Denise has actually been getting into it, and she's taking baby steps, but she's getting into it.
Excellent. Excellent. So good. So good. Well, we'll definitely, Haley, we'll definitely connect and I'll definitely get your channel. And that is really, really good. Yeah. That's really good to know that someone else also has that same interest. Yeah. Really cool. All right. The other podcast that you guys are mentioning a lot is this Radio Connection Live, right?
Indeed, Preston could fill you in on all that, but well, Stacy and I used to be on the team for that for that show. But yeah, on that show you actually get a glimpse of many things that are happening in radio and like just the ins and outs and stuff like that and how things were like run stylistically and like even like going into some of the business of it all, like the different markets, the different stations that actually serve different communities. It's like pretty much just the ins and outs of radio.
Basically, we focus on a lot of our time on the big news stories that we get every day, because I guess, as they say in the business, the news watch never stops. And
Right.
we actually have a news guy who does that named AJ Bowen. He's also out of Florida, I believe Daytona, and
Yeah.
we are pretty active on our social too. We have a Facebook Radio Connection Live. We have like 431 likes, 486 followers. Some of us on our team manage that page as well. And we do cover a lot of air checks. Tim O'Connor, who worked in terrestrial radio for 30 years, actually is helping out with our podcast. And he is our production director now. And this year we started a YouTube channel where we post about various surprises about what's coming up on the show. We give you a little bit of history. We catch up to people on the various air checks that we have done, and we cover a lot of format changes in the radio news too. So also how RCL started, Jamie and Darnell and another friend of theirs, they were actually running this show on my Telespace, which some of us were on way back in the day. But we wanted to think of new platforms and new horizons to start with. So back in 2013, we were on Audio XSFM for a bit before that closed its doors. 2014, I actually went to the Colorado Center for the Blind for independence training. I got connected with Jonathan Candler. He knew that I was a big radio nerd, and he told me about a station that we had called KGSC Radio. Pretty much August of that year when he graduated, I graduated from the center in October. But we kind of revamped the station to what was all automation all day to a lot of live programming, different talk shows. And then when that closed its doors in 2017, we were on 98.6 The Mix for about a year. Jamie Thomas decided to take the show in a whole musical direction. I think Herbie gave him the idea. So basically, we took a little bit of a hiatus as well. But back in 2020, we decided to bring RCL back as a podcast powered by Anchor. We're on all the major directories now, besides our show VisionCast, from the TuneIn to Odyssey to iHeart to Radio FM, radio.net. And so in total, we've been doing this RCL institution for 14 years total. I mean, if you count our podcast, but as far as that anniversary, we celebrated our 11th anniversary back in July. So rich history in that one too. We go all over the board.
Yeah. So it sounds like you guys cover a lot of fascinating topics, and I've covered it all here. Yeah.
We also had guests on. We also had guests on over the past few years in podcast form from voiceover artists like Vanessa James, John Warrior. Where I'm at in PA, I'm actually near the Maryland border. So we actually got a chance to interview out of all the corporate people in the landscape, Lori DeYoung from Baltimore. And we interviewed a general manager named John. I forget his last name, but he runs KYNO in Fresno. We got a chance to interview him. We interviewed some consultants, and yeah, we go over the place, as I said.
That's wonderful. That's so good. What types of international recordings have you recorded? How many people, just speaking for RCL, what has your reach been internationally? I'm always fascinated by, I've interviewed a lot of people overseas, all over the world, in the developing world, Europe, Asia, Africa, all over, really. So where, have you guys spoken to a lot of people overseas who are also in the radio sphere?
Actually, we haven't got that far yet, but I'm sure we'll definitely do that, as the years progress. As far as listener reach, we do get a lot of people in the US, and I'm sure some internationally. When I checked our Spotify account, it said we had about probably like 11 to maybe 14,000 total plays. It's kind of an estimate. But we're getting out there. And what's kind of cool about it is the various listeners who follow us on social media and contact us on our email and means of communication, they followed us from every single online radio station that we were involved with.
Very good. Excellent.
So I think it's all about getting the word out, and as always, getting your audience well aware. And we also have a weekly Zoom hangout on Wednesdays to keep people up to speed. People can show off what they have discovered in their market, and we just kind of have a lot of fun.
Sure. Now you're saying that's for and that's for the RCL group. In other words, is that a public Zoom where the public can come up to you guys and ask questions, or is it just for the RCL team?
That hangout's public.
Oh, that's a public one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, good.
So
great.
We do it Wednesdays at 8 Eastern. So we're pretty good about publicizing it on our Facebook page, and we also promote a lot on our recordings. So the Zoom recordings for RCL are Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern. And as far as our show, VisionCast, we do them Wednesdays at 3 Eastern.
I've noticed.
And that is open to all.
Right. And so in other words, that's very powerful and very unusual. So in other words, when you guys record VisionCast, that's a public Zoom. So basically anyone could climb in, could basically come into the room and sit down, basically.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Of course, after host admittance.
Right.
It's not actually just yeah.
No. Right. Of course, after the team actually goes in, there's there obviously has to be some moderation and stuff like that, and it all depends. But we do our best to pretty much keep keep the even the team and the show in general safe, respectful, and welcoming as not to copy ACB and everything and all the stuff that they do, but
well, certainly welcoming and very professional, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
But we also have a lot of fun, so yes.
Exactly. Because we
sorry, Denny.
Exactly, because we do we do have people on our show that actually are pursuing professions and stuff like that. For example, me, Denise, and our friend Eddie, also known as EJ the Phoenix. You could actually find him on YouTube as well, and also on all platforms as well. We're pursuing music. Heck, I mean, on Friday I put out I put out my latest single, Refuge, and he is and he actually is working on a YouTube exclusive album that actually has Stacy on the title track. I mean,
That's awesome.
it's
It's really good.
knowing all that and the history of people that we've even had on our show, we try to keep things as professional as possible. We try to do things on time as best as possible. But overall, it's a very it's a very free flowing show and very fun. And so
Absolutely. All right, Latabo, from my end of the audience. Okay, everybody, say bye to South Africa. Bye, South Africa. We'll see you next time, man. Thanks for joining us. He has to go soon. You guys will learn who Latabo is. As a matter of fact, he is a radio personality all the way from South Africa. We'll talk about him later. Yeah. I'm sure he'll interview. And he'll interview you on 2 different stations. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I haven't gone that far in the streaming aspect of it, but oh boy, this is
Wow,
gonna be
that's cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you guys interviewed on 2 of his stations. He has, of course, you guys know about UVC Radio, the sound that binds us together. Latabo has a show over there. And he also has a show on Zollyhood Radio where the magic happens. That's a South African station. So later when I don't know, you guys can talk to him in the WhatsApp. The trick to all of this is at the end of this meeting, a little later tonight. We'll have to talk. I'll probably send the WhatsApp over to Stacy, the manager there, and then Stacy, it'll be your job to send it out to everyone here. I have a private WhatsApp group for the guests of Aaron's Opinion from all over the world. So if you want to talk to someone in the Philippines, South Africa, all over the States, Canada, Caribbean, South America. I mean, if you want to talk to the world, come to my WhatsApp group. So we're glad to have.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Oh, I've interviewed Gambia. I've interviewed people from Gambia, Uganda, a lot of the Tunisia. So we're actually moving towards a thing where I have people actually doing posts in their local language. I have a Nepalese person who's working on a Nepali post promoting what I do in Hindi and Nepali. So yeah, I have a whole
cool.
just as you do. I'm just as you're blessed with a global group. I also have a global network of correspondents that have contributed over the years, and these things take a very slow and long time to build up, but eventually you end up with a portfolio, a list of people. You're like, oh wait, I can call that country. Oh wait, let me ask this country. It's like, oh my gosh,
yeah.
Where do these how do I actually know? How do I know all these countries? Yeah.
Right now, we pretty much have ourselves as a team. We've been only all in the U.S.
Yeah.
So, yes.
I promise.
Right
you.
now.
Go ahead.
For now, yes.
For now, we are, but I am trying to get my friend from Egypt to join us. It's just time zones are a little bit tricky, but I'm trying.
Let's talk. If you don't mind me asking, who is the Egyptian friend? I'm wondering who it is.
He goes by Miro. He's from Egypt. He's
cool.
He's a really cool guy.
What does he do?
I don't know what his job is or anything, but he's blind. He and I have been friends for
you should Stacy, you should probably know what his job is before you start interviewing him.
I don't think he has a job, Aaron. I think he lives on.
We're talking about Egypt, so you don't know what they're. I need to do some investigative journalism.
No,
and maybe check them out.
I know he went to school to teach, but I don't know if he's teaching anybody right now or I don't know what exactly because I haven't talked to him in a long time. So
Oh, that explains
Didn't he-
everything.
Right.
we just recently
Right.
reconnected.
Yeah. Let's try to test him out. Let's try to test him out first. This is already probably a great guy to have around, but you do have to
Remember,
do some
networking.
screening.
Networking, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I've
Right,
known him long enough. I don't have to
well,
screen.
Stacey, the funny part about this, networking is important, but also is screening. You have to screen properly, you have to screen your guests properly and network properly.
My
You're
requirement is if I know you for a year or longer, screening is not required or
Well,
never.
okay,
There, thank you.
Okay, that made my blood. Okay, you just made my blood pressure go up a little bit. By knowing someone for a year. Anyway, all right, guys. All right. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. Anyway, Denise, let me tell you something. I have a huge personality. I love to joke around about stuff like that. But no, that's great.
We do too.
You'll find by
Yes.
the way, we also here at Aaron's Opinion, we have a great Tunisian friend, who I've known for a year, and or two or three. I've actually known him for 3 years. He's a teacher and he's a great supporter of what all of us blind people are doing. He's a great friend. You'll meet him.
Oh, cool.
Unfortunately, he has problems with his phone, you see, so he doesn't always have access to WhatsApp. So he kind of
Oh.
comes and goes, kind of comes in and out like a radio signal sometimes. But
Yes.
you'll meet
Oh
the guy.
no! It just
well, that's-
phases in and out.
Right,
Exactly.
basically.
Yep.
But the thing is that what I've learned to do is when you interview people from the developing world, you have to be very compassionate to that and understanding that there's different
No,
understandings.
of course, yes.
And that
Yes.
let me just reiterate that the cultural expectation for what we're doing right here, this would not be normal behavior in a developing country. This would not happen overseas.
Mhm.
Or
Right.
if it
Exactly.
does, it would happen a lot less frequently. This whole expectation of, hey, let's come to a podcast and talk about stuff that we really want to get off our chests. They do it. I will tell you
Right.
that generally speaking, people from Northern Africa and the Middle East and the developing world, those are the people that love to talk. They are great talkers. They love to have conversations. They are extremely friendly and conversational people.
That's
And
true. Yes,
and
that
those
is true.
those are the people that truly support what you do. I'll tell you, I've noticed actually the people that are the hardest to interview are European people. European people are
Oh.
really hard to interview. They are some of the world's most private. They are actually, although the European people can be very reserved and very private, so they're very hard to get to come to radio shows.
It's funny that you
noticed
actually. It's funny that you actually mentioned. European people and also the difference in culture and stuff like that, because back in 2018, I actually did take a trip with my grandmother to Berlin, Germany, I have partial vision, and so I actually got to see at first glance the difference in culture and stuff like that, for example, for graffiti, people would actually many places would actually consider that vandalism and also illegal, but I've my grandmother and I have actually walked around for blocks upon blocks and stuff like that, and I have never seen a place with so much street art and none of it has actually been taken down and stuff like that. They consider that art and being very expressive and stuff like that. I have you may see the remains of the Berlin Wall, and at the front there's nothing on it, but once you go behind it, there's a lot of graffiti, there's a lot of artwork, there's a lot of names being written on it, and so yeah, it's very, very different.
Didn't you say you wrote yours on it?
Yep, my name is officially on the Berlin Wall.
That is so
awesome.
cool.
That is epic.
That's so cool. But guess what? Two things. Guess what?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Prepare to laugh. There are more exciting things than flying all the way across the ocean to Germany just to say, yeah, there's graffiti here. You know that there are more important things than graffiti. I mean, what about the schnitzel? I mean, wait a minute. You aren't getting away from me with this one. What about the schnitzel?
Yeah. Oh. I'm so pumped for Oktoberfest. Let's bring it.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
what
say
and
that
what
for
about and what about
breakfast.
the beer, man? I mean, let me.
Oh
let me
my
tell-
gosh! Another
The
thing is,
Steins.
another thing is that, like, you know, when you walk around, you know, the streets of Berlin, like, you know, you like two big things that you would actually see, you know, when walking around is a lot of bikes.
Oh,
And-
yeah, you told me that.
And also people actually like drink like actual alcoholic drinks publicly, and like
Oh,
like
wow.
even beer, just like walking around casually.
What?
It's crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Why
they
not?
do.
Hey, but you know what
Wow.
though? You know what? You still didn't answer the question. I asked you about the schnitzel. How's the schnitzel over there?
I never tried it. I never tried it.
You never tried it? Man, oh man, let me tell you, schnitzel is great stuff. So glad you went to Europe. I've been all over Europe. Actually, I'm a French speaker. I think I did mention that. So I've been to
What?
France like 5
Ooh.
times.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
I
so
forget.
cool.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
I
you.
went to France as well. I went to France in 2005.
Well, so good. Where did you go in France?
My grandfather lived in Paris. He actually got a really good job abroad. At
Okay.
the time, they used to live in Michigan.
Mhm.
And then he got a job abroad in Paris. And so he lived in Paris for a while. We went to go visit him and we got to see Versailles. We got to see,
Versailles. Mhm.
I didn't see the Louvre because that was just
Louvre.
Uh, my grandfather took me to see the Arc de Triomphe while the others went to see the Louvre. And then we saw the Eiffel Tower.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I tried Euros. So had lamb for the first time.
So good. So good. Let me tell you about the greatest French dish that is my favorite food. I shit you not. The dish is the food of God, okay? I'm sure this particular dish that I had, I'm 100% positive. I'm sure that I can have it for the rest of my life. I'm sure it exists all over the. The dish is called rognon de veau. Now you know what
What
rognon. You know what rognon is, right?
No.
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 So rognon is kidney. So it's actually baby
Okay,
cow's
ew.
kidney.
I think I'll pass.
No, you won't.
Oh,
No,
no.
you won't. It's the food of God. Let me tell you why it's the food that God eats. Let me tell you.
Somebody's kidney? No thanks.
Yeah, no. We see
That
the
sounds
Somebody,
wrong.
not somebody.
No, that sounds wrong.
Well, no. You meant oui, s'il vous plaît, because let me tell you, they chop up the kidney into little bite-sized pieces that are just perfect, délicieux. And then they put those little bite-sized pieces in some rice with some nice maple sauce. Let me tell you, fantastic. And then after that, I always order a nice leffe, a nice big French beer, about a nice gallon jug of beer to wash it all down.
A gallon?
Bingo, baby. That's the meal from God.
Wow.
Okay. That's the
Can somebody
meal from
get me a
God.
bucket? Can somebody get me a
No.
bucket? I'm gonna puke.
Stacy.
Kelly,
Oh no. Oh no. Oh
Let me
no.
tell you, I love eating
No.
organ meat. Let me tell you, I love eating
Ew.
organ meat.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I love liver.
My mom.
Me too. Oh, I love liver. Love it. Love it.
Okay, Denny and you can talk about that for as long
Yeah,
as you
yeah,
want.
please.
Leave me out of it. Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
never liked it.
Yeah, my mom likes liver.
It smells weird. I think I have had it
Ew.
before. It smells
That's
so
why it's good. It has that good organ meat smell.
Oh no.
No.
Lovely.
No.
lovely.
Ew.
All right.
Yeah, I love that menudo.
No.
I'm gonna go puke now. You guys, I'll talk
Let me
to you
let me
later.
tell you about at least Stacy, come on. Now Stacy, at least you like creme brulee? At least you like creme brulee?
Yes, I like creme brulee.
Oh,
Although
okay,
I
there
will
we go.
say,
That is good.
I
Yes.
did try octopus and I did try veal. I do
Oh.
like both octopus and veal.
I
Those are
love
good.
octopus.
I've still yet to try that, actually.
Oh my goodness.
But it
Yeah,
sounds
octopus is
strange.
great.
It's nah. I mean, like
Oh, it's
it-
really good, Denise. It's
Yeah.
really good. I tried it in New York.
Ah.
I'm
Yeah,
on my
uh,
cruise
Oh, well, you got to
last
try
year.
it in France. You got to try it in France.
my great uncle. Yeah, he got me into octopus. I mean,
Oh,
it's
boy.
a shame that they actually live like an hour and a half away. But yeah, it's a well, my grandmother, she gets freaked out whenever she would see that I would actually have one of those yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, like, oh man, especially those that are like naturally salty. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They taste
Wow.
pretty
Naturally
good.
salty. That's a new
Pretty good in
phrase.
Well,
that.
that's some,
Pretty good.
that's some good stuff. And it's important, one of the things that I'll teach students and one of the things that I try to teach people in the podcast space all over the universe and galaxy is, hey, it's important to travel. It's important to
agreed.
travel.
Oh,
It's
yes.
important to travel to Germany and just look at the graffiti and not eat schnitzel. And it's also important to go to France and say that you won't eat organ meat. I guess fine. I guess you
Well,
just
I
won't.
do have a funny story about France. I
Well,
think,
Well, look, it has
Oh,
to be
no.
really funny to make up for the fact that you won't eat organ meat. So this Stacey, this
I
better be good.
think this is pretty damn funny.
Okay, go for it.
I believe this was France. I might be wrong.
You just said it was France. Now you're believing. Is it France or not? Are we on the? Is it Mars, France,
I'm
which
like,
planet?
I'm like 95%.
This is your shot at redemption. Don't mess it up.
Hey, you weren't supposed to lie about it. Okay, no lying. No, okay,
I'm
let's
not
be
lying.
honest here. Okay.
I believe I'm not lying. I believe this happened when my grandfather lived in France. It could have been Germany. I don't remember exactly.
Just
But
focus
it's a
on
funny
France,
story.
France. Okay, got it.
But it's a funny story. Okay, so my grandfather went to this restaurant, right? But the menu wasn't in English.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
He pointed at something and he said to the waiter, "I'll get that. That sounds good." The waiter kind of
Uh-oh.
looked at him funny
oh.
and then brings him, I think, a plate of pig's balls.
No.
Funny.
Did he eat it?
Well,
I don't think he ate it. He's like, oh, never mind. That's not what I wanted.
yeah, so off.
Oh no! Oops. He
Yeah,
didn't
no.
know the menu.
Cute. That's very
Wow.
common. When you're in a foreign country and you're in a restaurant and you're really hungry and and you're looking at the menu like that, that can be very overwhelming. And a cute story. Both my parents, well, my father and I speak French fluently, and my mother used to be able to speak French. And then when we were in France, at one point, she ordered beer when she just wanted butter. So
Oh
so
no!
she mixed up bière and beurre, and it's
Oh,
very
no.
it's a bière and beurre. So,
Oops.
well, don't mix up the words. Don't mix it up. Or if you need, or if you smoke, which my father does sometimes, and we're in France, and he wants to go buy matches. These allumettes. Try not to go buy matches, and try not to ask for lunettes, which is glasses. So try not to buy glasses that you wear on your face over your eyes when you just want to buy matches. Allumettes. There's all sorts of
That's a
funny
big
stories.
difference.
Yeah.
Huge, or even bigger difference. Don't ever mix up these two words. Don't ever mix up guerre and gare. Do you know what a guerre is?
No.
A war. Do you know what?
Oh no!
Do you know what gare is?
What?
Word for train station.
Oh,
If you go to France, can you please do me a favor? If you go to France, a country that I love where I speak their language, please don't ask where's the war when you're just trying to catch the damn train, okay? They don't like it.
No.
They really
Oh
it just makes them a little nervous. Hey, excuse me, where's the war? Oh, I mean the train station. Oh, that. Oh, yeah. Don't do it, okay? Just
gone.
It's just probably best you take somebody that knows the language.
well, just take me. But then
Well,
but
people
anyway,
have to
there's-
know you. That is.
Yeah, and with me, you also have to eat organ meat, and you can't have dietary restrictions, and I have all sorts of rules and regulations. So
Oh, ouch, ouch.
many rules. A lot. It's a long travel contract. Let me tell.
Oh,
Let me tell you.
no.
Oh,
God.
You need to watch your alcohol consumption too when you're traveling.
No kidding. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, but I've actually interviewed a French person. There's a French person here at Aaron's Opinion. They don't contribute much. They have their own family, and they're an inventor. They invented a computer software in France that helps people who are recently blind. The software is called Mojécoute, and it's a product that is a play on the French expression. Okay, in English, in the old days when we would pick up the telephone and we would say "hello, speaking" like that. Well,
Oh, yeah.
in French, we would say "moi j'écoute," and so it's not "moi j'écoute," it's "mo j'écoute," as in "mo," as in French, as in word in French, "mo j'écoute," and it's a word puzzle game that blind people can play, but it's primarily for the French market. So I've interviewed him about that. Yeah,
Okay.
but
Awesome.
no, I've interviewed a couple Europeans over the years, but certainly not many. Certainly not many at all, actually. Yeah. Really good.
Traveling
So
first.
go ahead. Yes. What's that? Go ahead.
As far as our podcast posting and timing for both shows I do,
Mhm.
we usually get them out throughout the week or
Preston, you're cutting out pretty
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
I
Preston,
think
man,
your
you're lagging.
original's off.
You're lagging a hell of a lot.
His original's off.
But to expand on what it was saying and to get back to the subject at hand, we record on Wednesday and then there's the editing process and then distribution that usually happens before the next week. So
Right.
Now that we have Donald Brown from Super Hit Mix Radio
Look,
has
pause right there. Ditto Donald Brown couldn't do it with he is so Stacey just have sorry to interrupt you. Had to be complimentary before I forgot to be complimentary. Donald Brown, such a great guy. He's been on my show too. He's utterly he's a fascinating person.
Oh
And if
yeah.
he's not fascinating. He's just
yeah.
a really nice guy. He helps
He's
so many
awesome.
people.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. Okay, Stacey had the floor before I interrupted. Go ahead, Stacey.
I agree. Donald Brown is a great guy. I actually work for him. I've been doing audio production for him, projects for him off and on since October of 2021. And yeah, he's a really good guy to work for. And yeah, he's really easygoing. He said even you could edit the scripts a little bit because, like, I really don't like my last name being used because it kind of reminds me of some trauma. So I prefer when people.
That's interesting.
I prefer when people introduce me that you know how JC does it. He says, "This is Stacy, aka Crazy Stacy 25, our producer." So that's how I prefer to people to introduce me. So, like when Donald put Paulson in there, I just re-edited the script so it just said Stacy. But yeah, he's a really cool guy to work for. He's awesome. But back to VisionCast, what I was going to say because I lost my train of thought. But my sentiments are exactly about Donald. He's a great boss. He's really easy
Likewise.
to work.
Yes.
George and I do Music Mayhem on his station as well. So Music Mayhem with George and Stacy. He hosts that for us every Thursday night. But now that Donald is hosting VisionCast, he started hosting us last week. We kind of have to be on more of a tighter schedule when it comes to editing. And I
Right.
know that Denise just joined. She wants to get her feet wet in audio editing. And George has also expressed to me that he wants to give it a try.
Oh boy.
Oh,
This ought to be
So-
good.
Believe it or not, it took me 7 hours with breaks included to edit that for you
I
all.
was trying with WavePad, and it was quite the task to sit down and edit some stuff with WavePad. It was very cool. It was
So
very
what
cool.
what I'm gonna do for him, because usually, like even like when Denise helps out with Showcase 7, I still record as well. So I'm gonna give George a copy just to practice on. Obviously not the master
Yes.
just yet,
Right,
but
yeah.
a copy so he can practice. But yeah, Denny, Denise, and I are gonna have to come to a decision as to who's gonna edit what when, because we need to make sure that everything
Yeah, we will have to talk. This is getting
Yeah.
a little big.
that
Yeah.
yeah, it is
Thankfully,
getting big, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
thankfully, behind the scenes, things are being worked out, and and we'll well, just like any institution or business or whatever, there's gonna be a a meeting
Right.
this Thursday, and it'll address
Yeah, a meeting with the
many,
whole
many-
team, and then I was thinking maybe I could, because I think Denny and Denise wanted to talk later on in the week. I could pull them aside and we could figure out what's going to happen where and when.
Yeah, this is
Mhm.
something to be discussed off here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not going to get into details
No.
here, but yeah, now
No.
that we are on more of a tighter schedule, it is imperative that we have the shows by Sunday. And
That we get it published in time and all that.
And that's your
Now-
snippet of behind the scenes with VisionCast.
Denny.
Yes. Now,
Danny, join
actually,
the voices.
the only time we were late, well, we weren't in syndication yet, but last year, my mom took me on a cruise for late high school graduation gift to Bahamas and the Caribbean, the whole 9 yards. So I had to tell Denny and the team that, hey, I'm going to be out of commission for the week. So whatever you send me, it'll be published when I get back. I mean, of course, I sent them WhatsApp messages detailing the trip.
Right. No, but I mean now it's of course a little bit more imperative to have it.
now
but
that
anyway,
we have Donald, even if you
besides-
don't publish the podcast right away, we have Donald, so I still have to have the show. by Sunday.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
it became more pressing, but hey,
Oh, you had it early Monday morning. No. Sunday morning, right? Yes.
We had it
Monday
Sunday
morning. Monday morning.
No,
Actually.
Sunday
Sunday night.
Sunday morning. It was early.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was after
Sunday-
just
you
1
gave it to
a.m.
me
here.
Sunday morning. Yeah, you did. You gave it to me.
Because
Sunday.
I sent it.
Yes.
down. That's
It was
right.
Sunday.
George sent it to. Oh, which by the way, Denise, there's something I'll ask you off air about Dropbox, but remind me of that because sometimes I'm not going to be able to send the shows. So George
Back
is
in.
gonna kind of help us out here a little. So I have an idea, but I'll talk to you about that off air.
All right. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, no problem. It's always interesting to go off on little tangents like that. No worries. So I'm actually sure that I've asked you guys a lot of questions, put you guys on the spot a lot. So let's turn the tables here. What do you guys really want to know? And I mean, I really want to go through and allow all of you to really dig in, really dig into me. Really, what do you really want to know about Aaron's opinion, Aaron Richmond? My philosophy on on life, love, the universe, the galaxy. What do you guys really want to know in any order? Go dig in.
So, what made you decide to to start getting into into podcasting? So what officially kicked off the what is now Aaron's opinion?
Well, what kicked it off is I was working during the pandemic, and what I was doing during the pandemic, which is the same thing I'm doing now, is working online. I've always worked from home, and in between students, I would put on a podcast. Many of them, well, not all of them, but many of them were podcasts directed or kind of marketed towards the blind community. And I noticed one thing. I noticed that a lot of those podcasts just are not really open to opinions. And I really had a problem with that because, as you guys can tell, I have a lot of crazy thoughts and crazy opinions, and I love to share them. And if you, and you know what, and if the public has a problem, well, that's too bad.
There's the door.
There's a door. There's another podcast to listen to. So that's really, kind of where I, plugged in my flavor. I'll tell you this. I'm very different. Well, we're all different. We're all characters, but I'm a very different character. I grew up in a very traditional conservative, upbringing, listening to conservative talk radio, in the 1990s when I was a little guy, and I always had the ear for radio and broadcasting and really what makes a good listen. And I've always had a passion for that my entire life. And then I was doing a lot of online teaching where I was talking all day, and I just use my voice. I just love to talk. So why don't I just record it and see where it goes? And that's eventually how I developed the product of Aaron's Opinion.
That's cool.
And hold on a second. And Penny Lawler in the chat. Thank you. You're very kind, Penny. You're so kind.
Very nice to hear from you, Penny. That is really cool.
Yeah. Now she joins us there in the chat. She's doing that's a magnificent thing to do, Penny, to be typing that adds to it. The text chat, as we see that adds to the flavor of it. She's typing on her keyboard all the way from Perth, all the way from Australia. So now you have people in Australia who know who VisionCast is now. So yeah, Interestingly, I've interviewed Penny, and Penny has been on my show before. And her video was the most popular video on my channel ever.
Wow.
That's cool.
I think I've seen your name somewhere.
You
Maybe
probably
in
have.
a list forever ago.
You probably have, because her video was actually the number one video on Aaron's Opinion as far as performance goes. Penny, well, go watch the video, but she's had a very, 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 very interesting life so far. Yeah. I also got to dig in with when Donald Brown was on my show. I got to dig into his past too. He told me his whole backstory. Basically escaping from the Jehovah's Witnesses and all that talk. He told me the whole story.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
And that I had no idea. And he's my boss.
You think you know a guy?
Like, okay, what did I say, guys? Hold on, back me up on this. Stacy, what did I tell you a little while ago? You said, I've known this person for a year. They're perfect. Nothing's wrong with them.
Backfired.
Stacy, you need to know. You need to know people's background.
Yes, you
No
do.
Luckily, Donald,
you don't know I've had to escape from the Mormons more than once.
No, but I don't really. I mean, if people want to share their stories with me, they do.
We're just teasing.
I know you are. But no, Donald is a great boss. Really great.
He really is. He's a character. He really is a character. Absolutely.
I do love him a lot. He's a great boss.
And Penny, thank you. And I agree. It has been a journey since we spoke, Penny. Thank you. So you at home, you guys at home who are in the audience who are too afraid, go follow Penny. Type up questions as we're going along, because this is a very hard format for me to pull in live people to actually ask questions. But you guys can type them just like Penny. All right. Next, other questions from all of you about Aaron Richmond, Aaron's opinion. I mean, come on, guys, make me stop.
You're the one that's asking.
Right.
Here's your question.
Okay, go, Stacy.
Stacy,
go ahead. Stacy, go.
What is the most difficult interview you've ever had to do? And have you ever felt like, maybe you have to call it quits with somebody?
Ooh.
Oh, great.
Good question.
I love it. Love it. Love it. You know what? I'm not going to tell you who it is because it's not appropriate.
Right.
I actually did a very long time ago. I did have to call quits halfway through a conversation. Absolutely, Penny. No, Penny, hit me up anytime on that. Slide into my DM on Instagram or anytime. All right. Yeah. But yes, Stacy, I definitely did have to hang up on someone at one point. I've had it all. I've had people threaten me. I've had people lash out at me. I've guys, trust me, you think you've been there. If you guys have problems, Aaron, someone's saying that, what do I just come to me? Trust me. I can talk you through any scenario. I can talk you through it. But most difficult interview, I mean, I've interviewed people that, are completely against, or not against, are completely, I mean, most difficult. I've interviewed someone who, now I'm going to share this a little bit. Now, sometimes, as I say, talk to people in the intros and outros on my show, I'll tell you, sometimes people need to talk. And what I mean is sometimes people just need to have a conversation to help themselves through a difficult time in life. You know,
I'm that kind of person for sure.
Aunt event, yeah.
Definitely.
Well, good. So I was talking to a guy who was living in a homeless shelter, and he was actually one of the most interesting. He was one of the most interesting conversations. He had to stop halfway through the interview to put on his monk robes because he claimed to be a monk. And he also claimed to be running. He was some sort of politician. He had all these weird political views, and he wanted to be like, he wanted to be, you got it, one of these like people that wants Texas to like secede from the Union. And he was going to be, he really thought that he was like, no, I'm being serious. He called himself the president of the Republic of Texas.
What?
Oh
my
God!
Wow.
Well, guys, you know what?
Sometimes medication is he on?
Well, now, Stacy, let's please. I understand where that would blurt out from, but let's understand that sometimes people have a disability and they have a hard life and they're going through. So you know,
true.
I was never quite sure. And you know what? I didn't judge the guy because he was a great conversationalist and he clearly needed to talk to me. And I think that my conversation made him feel better. And so those are some of the hardest conversations that you have to have, is those conversations where it's more of a therapy session for the guests. And sometimes people have a hard life and they just need to talk about stuff. You know, I find that for me, podcasting is extremely, extremely therapeutic. And has helped me just to be able to talk about stuff. Just having the conversation with you guys. If it doesn't make you feel better, know that it made me feel better. So, you know, and helping Penny over in Australia, you know, this is about doing the right thing. And that's really what the life lesson is. Sometimes, you have to have those hard conversations. Or hearing about sad stuff, you know, like, I recently spoke to someone who on my show who went to prison, right? I've spoken to someone whose sister committed suicide. I mean, I've got, let me tell you, when I tell you that my podcast is not for the faint of heart. And when I tell you that when you see the explicit label on my content, it means explicit, no ifs, buts, or coconuts. I mean, right. You know, I take serious. Just as you do. This is serious. And I've had to have some very incredibly disturbing I've had a couple conversations where, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I mean, there's been some scary conversations where really felt pretty scary sometimes. But then you put the episode together and you feel better, and then you're able to help them share a really hard story. And then I've had a lot of great episodes too, where we talk about, cute stuff, funny stuff, hilarious stories from around the universe and that type of thing. But Stacy, cool. that was a great question. And we were talking about me interviewing you and Haley. And now that I know about this flight simulator thing, now that I know that you guys also share my love for that and my love for aviation, trust me, we're gonna keep talking because you're good. I'm gonna have some requests, and I'm gonna want to be on your live streams on YouTube, and I'm gonna ride along with you, man, because that really makes me feel good. I mean, I'm not just saying that.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not just saying that just to find another blind person who loves the aviation, loves the flight simulator, loves the VAT sim. I never got that far into it. Unfortunately, I played it for years, never got to the VAT sim part. I know what it is, but just the fact that I see a successful blind person who is able to do it, that's just such a comfort to me. And this is so really. I mean, I'm going to have to watch your live stream on YouTube, and I'm going to assign you a flight. And I'm going to send you across the ocean, man.
I have my own email list too, so I can give you that at some point too.
Yeah. I could send it. I could send it to you. It's not, I could send you the contact details, but yeah, I definitely would love to do that interview with me and Haley and George and Philip,
right?
About, being blind, polyamorous, and in the LGBTQ.
And flight simulating.
and play Super.
That-
Yeah.
that's
That might have to be
great.
separate. Yeah, that might
That's
have
gotta
to be
be separate.
separate.
I don't think so. No,
Yeah.
no. For how deep? For trust me, Denise. For how deep my obsession with the simulators are. No. We're talking about it. I'm squeezing it in there, baby. Trust me.
Can we not
okay?
do it in that particular interview? I think maybe you and
Okay.
Haley should have a separate
Yeah,
interview.
that
about
should
it.
be a separate
That's
one.
why I said
Okay,
that.
no problem. All right.
Because
okay.
because like it's best to like to separate topics and also and also in many cases demographics as well, because like
Yeah.
I like like stuff like that was how I actually like led myself to pretty much at first on my YouTube channel I only put out music, but then I actually made some gaming videos, and there's some of my most popular videos are of the Avengers Tower and Minecraft series, where we actually got to build the
We'll have you on too. We'll have you on too to talk about your gaming. And you know what, I declare that I'm gonna want you know what I'm gonna do. I promise I want individual episodes from all of you, and then I'll set up a playlist for VisionCast, and then we'll have a VisionCast playlist of this interview, and then all the following sectional interviews for each of you that we do, and that'll be a great
cool.
list.
Oh, that's so cool.
a bit of a
Why not?
VisionCast series.
Hey,
Nice.
that's
Wow.
awesome.
Great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then
interview
and then
us all
after
in-
and then
Cast
after
series,
that,
that's
and
awesome.
then
That is
even
awesome.
better, and then you guys will have, after we do all those interviews, then I'll send you the VisionCast and VisionCast with JC and Friends playlist, and then that's yours to share publicly. So then you'll always have those
Cool.
videos. So really
That's
cool.
so
Really
cool.
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
why not, guys?
Oh,
All right,
Yeah.
so Stacy, you really dug in. So Denise, I can hear a question in my ear from you. I'm sensing you got some question marks for me. Go ahead.
Oh boy.
So, okay, I'm very curious. Now,
I can tell.
I am extremely curious.
I
got
can tell.
this
What's your question?
Yeah. So you mentioned that you've had very difficult interviews.
Yes.
Have you ever had an interview where, I don't know, you just you felt like you had to do something for somebody but just couldn't?
That's a
Has that ever
beautiful-
happened?
You know what? You guys are brilliant friends. You guys are brilliant podcasters. That was another brilliant question.
I have a very compassionate personality.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you
good.
know.
Well, good. That'll balance out my Aspergery, not always having the patience for that. So that's good. More power to you. That's good, because we gotta have the balance. That's good.
Exactly.
Hold on. I think Denny wanted to say something.
No.
He's the
Okay.
host, so
Oh, I
No,
thought
please-
you wanted to say something. Okay.
Well,
that's
that's fine,
but
but hold on. So please let me. I would like to answer.
Sure.
Okay.
like I said, he's the host. So.
Okay.
Right,
okay.
right. So yeah, no, it is disorienting with all of us. It's a
Right.
very tricky balance.
Right.
An interview where I really felt that I needed to take action in my life to maybe help someone write a letter or take change or something, make a change happen in society, something like that. Penny, it didn't come across in the text chat, Penny. I mean, I read the words, but I didn't quite get the drift. No, don't think I've ever had to do that. I've never really, I mean, I've come close a couple of times with needing to help someone write, send information to someone else to pursue a matter further. But no, it's a brilliant question, and I wish I had a better answer than no, but no is good. Knows what you're getting, because that's what I can tell you. No, luckily and unfortunately, no. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's the
Yeah.
honest truth. So might as well give it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Well, might as well. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead. Other people have questions. Go ahead.
Hey, Aaron, here's
Go
my
ahead.
question. Here's my question for you, dude.
Shoot.
what is like the most inspirational or common feedback you have gotten about your podcast journey? Because let's face it, I know some of us have just subscribed and followed your community and vice versa,
Right.
but
Right.
what's kind of your views about comments, and what's your favorite feedback you have gotten thus far?
My views are I love feedback. I love rating and reviews. So let's practice. Don't forget, rate and review Aaron's Opinion anywhere you listen to it. That would help.
Yes.
Indeed.
Right, but actually do it. Everybody says, "Yep, got it," and then you forget to do it. Okay, it actually means. Okay, not saying it for decorations. It matters. Rate actually means to rate it. Review it means to type up a great review about one thing that would help me. That would be really beneficial. Is if you each of you, and I would truly be touched forever if at least one of you did it. It would mean the world to me. If you wrote a review wherever you listen, where you say, here's really what I think about Aaron's Opinion. If you read a little paragraph explaining what you really think about me, what you love, what you hate, how I affected you, how I, the positives and negatives, and really showed a balanced review, that would help, because that really shows that we're, a balanced podcast here. Feedback, I've gotten very few of it over the years, from, the majority of the public doesn't really seem too terribly receptive, although I think it's increasing now more than ever. But, there were a lot of times where I would put out an episode and nobody would notice for months or years,
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's been a lot of crickets, in the symphony for sure. Yeah, definitely. Great question.
I like the analogy. That was cool.
Yeah. That's what it is. A lot of times you upload an episode and nobody listens. Nobody notices. And if it wasn't for Donald Brown, I would have never heard about. I had never heard of VisionCast until Donald Brown posted about.
Wow.
I had never heard of you guys, and then I was like, "What VisionCast? What's that?" That's why you need to do more guesting on other podcasts and more advertising and more joining groups and
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like I told
I know you do, Penny. You're very kind. I know you do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, what?
It's like I told Donald. I mean, as content creators, whether it's music or videos or even podcasts, one really big thing that we heavily rely on is exposure, and like the more exposure you get, the better. And that and with a podcast, I mean, those guest appearances, they could give you that push that you need, especially if it matches up with your audience's views, their values, their beliefs, or even if they just want to be entertained. And so it's and speaking of which, I mean, I'm very glad that we actually got the opportunity to come on. I mean,
yes.
And I don't know if you actually got the notification though, but I just subscribed to your YouTube channel. So
thank you. Ditto. Thank you. And you mentioned exposure, by the way. Well,
yes.
The answer is, it's not about, in my opinion, it's not quite about the exposure, because you can get positive exposure and negative exposure.
Oh yeah.
What it's about actually is the ratings and reviews. That's what actually moves the podcast forward. Actually,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm pretty suspicious of it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The fan feedback, and with any content, whether if it's social media posts or even videos or music or whatever, there's always going to be those who like and support it, and then there are those naysayers and haters, and just people who just pointlessly post negative comments.
Yeah.
It's the sad truth, but hey, like for my opinion, especially regarding those pointless comments. I mean, sadly, that's what modern society has come to.
Agreed.
Well, yeah, those are the people that I just ignore. We get them. All podcasts have to deal with trolls and
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
disgruntled
Oh, yeah.
people.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What else do you guys want to know?
Oh, yeah, I'm Nora. I would like to
Mhm.
know, have you ever interviewed anybody when it concerning just about music, like musicians and professional musicians?
I interviewed just last week. I put out his episode just last week. I interviewed a Gambian living in Germany. Speaking of Germany,
Oh wow.
Hey,
we can talk. We can talk later, guys. The promise I'm going to make though is that with a group like this, you guys are going to have to join. We're going to all have. You guys are all going to have to join my WhatsApp group for sure to be able to communicate with me.
Definitely.
It's not going to work if we're it's not going to work if we aren't all on one WhatsApp group.
Right.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
send it
even
to me. Yeah, send it to me, and I will
Mhm.
send the link to the WhatsApp group for
Yes,
Vision
please do.
Cast.
That works. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
everyone
So
can
what you
join.
can, so Stacy, you can post, you know what I'll do? I'll send you, Stacy, the WhatsApp group for my team here at Aaron's Opinion.
Yep.
And guys, please join it. Please note that it is one of the few ways it is the way that I expect to be contacted. And it's really the only way to know what I'm really doing and what's going on behind the scenes and to know what's up and to know when I'm out or on mute or things like that. I do post a lot of critical information. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
being present in my WhatsApp group, or even if you want, I don't care. Add me to yours if you want, but either way, add my group in there, and I'll send it to Stacy, and then Stacy,
Why
you
don't we
can.
both?
Yeah.
I'll add
Yeah,
you
that
to
works.
ours, and then vice versa.
Yeah, then it would definitely work. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
because
like,
my group is all of the other guests too. It would be all of you great guests and then all the other great guests from all over the world. So it would be a great way for you guys to network and meet them and talk as much as you guys want.
Oh, that's cool.
We have
Oh.
other broadcasters and other radio stations and people in Caribbean and literally all four corners. The sun never sets on the empire. It really doesn't. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
audio messages.
Go. But yes, Nora, I've interviewed many musicians, but there's this, and if you listen to the audio, I actually play his Gambian music in the audio, and it's so beautiful and
Wow,
so
that's
cheerful.
awesome.
oh,
Nice.
And
Already
so-
subscribed, so I got a lot of stuff to catch up on.
beautiful.
Right. Well, and if you have specific questions, if you want me to specifically send you an episode about a specific thing, then just come up to me, off air and say, "Hey, Aaron, send me that episode about this person, about that," and I'd be more than happy to go grab the Spotify for you, because it is a lot of episodes and it's all a blur. So, but yes,
Yeah.
Nora.
Yeah.
Yes, Nora. Did that answer your question, Nora?
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you
you're
much.
welcome, Nora. Sure.
And
All right.
Thank you.
Next.
Thank you for having me on the show. Excuse me.
Stay safe to you. Okay, guys, everybody say bye to Penny. She has to go. Bye, Penny.
See you,
Thanks for
Penny.
joining us.
Penny,
Yeah.
Penny.
coming.
Yeah. Thanks for
Bye,
joining us
Penny.
all the way. Thanks for joining us all the way from down under. Thanks for joining us.
Oh,
Yeah. And her video is the most popular one on the whole channel. So she's had
Wow.
like
Yeah.
all of us, she's had a fat, oof, she's had a life that so far, that Penny Lawler, she's an experience. Anyway,
Mm.
Awesome.
yeah. Other things you really want to know,
So,
go ahead.
so
Denny, you first. Yeah, I was gonna ask something as well. So you first, then
okay.
I'll go after.
yeah. So what is your vision and what is your strive for the for the show for the for at least the foreseeable future?
Well, my strive is the same, is that I just love broadcasting. I love, creating episodes. I love having interviews and conversations, and I just love doing it. And it's the right thing to do. And I have a lot of challenges in my life. A lot has gone right. A lot has gone wrong.
Oof.
A lot has made me happy. A lot has made me unhappy. But what I try to do is podcasts because that always makes me happy.
Right.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And in some way, it's almost like a public journal, which is actually
It is.
a bit of a brave thing to do. But on VisionCast, we actually do show like all kinds of things that come from life's ups and downs and everything. And in fact, they're like I wouldn't call it a series or anything, but there's a set of episodes that I've actually titled that actually heavily have to do with Denise, and they're pray for Denise part 1, pray for Denise part 2, and then answered prayers. And so that all that all resulted from how she actually ended up here in Miami, Florida with me. And so yeah,
right, absolutely.
And so
Yeah.
there's
And back to Denise. Go ahead. You wanted to ask something else. Yeah.
Right. So now you got the whole spiel that yes, Denny and I are together. So so that really does tie very well. What do you have as far as your own thoughts and perspectives about love? I mean, love in the sense of loving somebody in the all sorts of ways, whether it's familial or a romantic relationship. Different. What kinds of opinions do you have about that?
I have a simple opinion. I'm someone who, and I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable getting uncomfortable. And that's a trait of a podcaster, to be vulnerable, which I am. I've had no relationships in my life. I grew up in a very small town, and I've just always never one of those guys that, goes through life, goes through schooling, lives with your family, and you just never really get out much. Mainly because of the part of the countries that we've lived in, and mainly because of the goals and the challenges, like I said, the obstacles I've had to overcome in my own life. I've just never gotten around to that yet. My theory is that us people around the world need to learn how to love. We need to learn how to love each other. But first, as they say, we need to learn how to love ourselves, and we need to really get a grip on society. Because all I'm seeing after talking to all these other blind people, and I talk to them every day in these developing nations, in these third world countries over in Africa, their lives are so much harder than ours ever will be.
Right, that's true.
Right.
And those people in those countries, I notice, are a lot kinder and have a lot more love. So they've figured out that if you're going to have a hard life, you might as well love it. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. I think that's my opinion.
I'm of the opinion with that kind of thing, since you mentioned it. This might sound a little bit harsh.
That's fine.
If you will.
I'm harsh. Yeah.
I mean, just in general.
Right.
I've always been of the kind of person that says, I was just writing to some folks in a game. They have a Telegram channel in this MUD-based client. So you just type into their Telegram channel and it gets posted to everyone with it. And I'm just thinking, I was discussing recently remember how I said to you that I'm a very compassionate person?
Yes.
Right? So I'm one that feels extremely deep. We're talking soul deep.
Quite an empath, yeah.
So basically, I was discussing with some of the people in the Telegram community of the game about how I get sad. I tend to get sad when it comes to Denny sometimes being away. I feel like I'm still kind of a stranger, in some way, because everybody just has their own thing going on, and if he's not around, or someone that does take some time to talk to me beyond just hello, how are you doing, it feels just awkward, But here are some that say, oh, just as simple as with the attitude of, oh, you just have to get a life. What are you going to do if XYZ happens? And that just that broke me. That just broke me. And I just had to wonder, are there any more people that are compassionate anymore? Which is, in my case, I tend to stick to my very close circle of us people of, especially if they know music and stuff like that, because we have that deep understanding that's beyond words and beyond language.
Absolutely.
And that's why I was curious to know what do you feel? What do you think about things like that? What do you think about people when they are not very understanding to what you may feel you would need or want from that?
Two sides to it. There's the side that I have where I'll tell people that I know that I, Aaron Richmond, am a very unusual person. Okay. Most people would have a difficult time liking me. Okay. There's a lot of things that are very unusual about me. I have a lot of obsessions. I have a lot of things that are just socially not in alignment with what's going on right now in our society. I also think that people need to learn more about other people. So it goes both ways, you know. I think one of the greatest ways to teach people is through the art of podcasting and media.
Exactly.
Because forever now, people can come back to this and listen and learn about it and say, well, it was kind of a crazy conversation, but I learned a lot. And that's the right thing. And that's the right thing to do. I don't think that answers your question, but I also don't think I can answer the question because, you know, we haven't had the same life experience, you see.
I was just curious. I really was just curious because of your, you know, just the way that you conduct yourself as a very interesting person, for sure.
Well, that's okay. You said something interesting. You said that I conduct myself as an interesting person. How do I conduct myself? I didn't know I was conducted.
I got it.
Orchestrated everything.
Are we talking about an orchestra now? No, I'm just kidding.
I wanted to light it up because we were getting a little serious for a second. That was starting to get a little somber, so I wanted to sprinkle in.
No, it's all right.
So, do you even remember how I conduct myself, or have you forgotten at this point how I conduct myself? How do I conduct myself?
I mean, how do you conduct yourself? Do you have somebody wave a baton at you? I guess. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you're a one-man orchestra.
No.
Quite a concerto.
Oh boy.
Cut and print.
So
I meant it like, because you're very formal, but you're also very you're just interesting in how you come up with the whole ebb and flow of the conversation. It's like,
there you go. The art of podcasting, the art of conversation.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what pulled you into it. Right. Good.
Yes.
Cool.
I too am a talker, so you just tell me when to be quiet.
Would you believe it if I told you that we've actually been speaking for longer than I record most of my content? And I would like to say mostly I only do hour recordings. I usually record for 60 minutes. Every guest, but I knew with a big group, I knew I had to give you guys more. I knew 1 hour wouldn't do it justice, and I was right. So what I want to do now is start to walk to an end of a beautiful conversation. Boy, we covered a lot. We got serious, we got funny, we got emotional. I mean, we really, we really, we podcasted.
I kept it together. Good thing I didn't cry.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, I'm going to be overly honest. I could tell that you were starting to cry, and then I made a joke, and then you started to laugh and then stopped crying. Okay.
I was about to, yes. Go ahead.
Okay, no crying. No crying's not allowed. Okay, that's other shows do cry.
Don't cry over spilled media.
Well, no sadness.
Or wait a minute.
Spelled media?
Or wait a minute. Hold on.
No.
Glory, no
No.
sadness.
Wait a minute, Stacy. Stacy, don't cry because Doodles spilled the milk.
Good one.
Got it.
I was wondering when am I going to be able to nail that? When am I going to be able to get that to bounce? And it was right there, right at that moment. Doodles, Doodles, Doodles spilled the milk.
I knew you would get there somewhere.
I wasn't just going to be nice. I wasn't going to be just that nice and just let it go. Because I just
No.
can't, because I don't spill the milk and I'm just too
Well,
perfect.
we all know, Aaron,
Yeah.
we all know that George really did spill a whole carton of milk.
Yeah,
I
he did.
understand. It was, but it was just. I thought just a little bit, just a little dribble at the bottom. I thought, no, it was the whole carton.
Drops the best.
It was the carton. He said
Yeah, it was
was
a carton.
dribble, but it was the carton. Don't lie.
It was not the whole damn Clinton deals.
So
Don't
what
lie.
we're gonna do now, because we all do, we have our lives. I gotta get going here, but I just want to say from the bottom of my heart to all of yours, thank you. Thanks a million. We're going to go basically in any order that you want, but if someone wants to get in touch with each of you individually, how do they do it? I don't care what order you go. Tell people where they can contact you afterwards. Go ahead.
All
right.
Stacy, go. Stacy, how does someone get in touch with you? God, you guys are quiet and hard to talk to. Go, Stacy.
Yes, we know. Yes.
All right. Well, my name is Stacy, aka Crazy Stacy 25, and if you would like to get in touch with me, or you have any requests for our music show, Music Mayhem, that George and I do on Super Hit Mix Radio, I'll give you my email address, and then I can give you my number upon request. I just don't feel comfortable airing it on the show.
Right.
I tell you what, click the link in the description. Okay, Denise, go. Someone wants to get in touch with you. How do they do it?
Okay, so definitely through email, and yes, email's probably the best option. My email is D Barajas, spelled. I'll spell it all phonetically.
Click the link. You know what?
Click the link. Yeah, we'll.
Just click the link in the description. Okay, go. Next person.
Of the video.
Go.
All right, we'll do. Yes.
Okay, yeah. That's okay. Go ahead. Next.
Denny.
Yeah, I was about to say earlier. Yeah, for the I'll get to me in a bit, but for the podcast as a whole, yeah, you can actually find us, by looking on all podcast platforms, and yeah, that includes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else, and like for social media, you could look us up by looking up Visioncast with JC and symbol ampersand friends, and Visioncast is actually all one word. Now for the same goes for our Facebook page, but as for me, as I said in my intro, you can find me by looking me up on YouTube and also my music on all streaming platforms. But for contacting me, I rarely check social media, but you can look up my fan page by looking up H-Streets, and for other platforms, either look for at H Streets Music or at H Streets Dreamer, and so yeah.
Sounds good. Next.
All right, folks. I'm kind of all over the place, but it's within good reason. So I'm Preston. You can find me with Facebook under Preston P. Daddy Gillard as a nickname that I got back in high school. And my Instagram, I'm at Preston P. Daddy. I hopped on the Mastodon bandwagon. I'm part of tweezcake.social, so you can look for PGAYLOR 2013. at tweetsgeek.social. And as far as, well, other content, I actually am on YouTube as well. I don't post a lot, but I do follow a lot of like music and TV IDs and EAS stuff and whatever. So you can look for me under Preston Gaylor on YouTube. And speaking of staying connected, another good way you can stay connected to VisionCast is we also have a email list you can join. So that is simply Vision-Cast plus subscribe at groups.io. And when you confirm your email, you can email us anytime at vision-cast@groups.io for show ideas, feedback, and more. And as far as my external podcast, you can check me out on Radio Connection Live, wherever you get podcasts. Our Facebook is simply Radio Connection Live, Twitter at RCL the podcast, and we have a YouTube channel, as mentioned earlier, simply entitled Radio Connection Live Podcast. And the email for that is rclthepodcast@gmail.com. And
Thank you.
I'm also on Throwback Saturday Night at 986mix.com, 8 Eastern Saturday night, so you can check me out there. Oh, and Aaron, I almost forgot. I help out with our NFB here in PA. I am a guest co-host of White Kings Connect.
Mm-hmm. Good.
So you can look for that wherever you get podcasts. And you can look for more details at nfbfpa.org. So yeah, I'm all over the place, but it's well worth it dealing with this industry in a good way.
I also interviewed David Goldstein too. Absolutely. He's great. Of course.
Perfect.
All right, next, go.
Yeah, hi, I'm Nora King, and you can contact me on your VisionCast email list at vision-cast@groups.io. And I don't have any podcast of my own, but you're always welcome to email me through the group. And thank you very much for having me on your show.
With pleasure. Of course. Always welcome,
Aaron,
Nora.
sorry. One more tidbit I forgot. My email, you can look for pgradioman@hotmail.com, or an external way is prestongaylor21@gmail.com for my email. And if people want my number, you can ask for it upon request as well.
Thank you. Next.
Yep.
Next.
For mine, it's WMonkey, WMONKEY 1990 @gmail.com. This is for Philip. If you guys have any questions you want to talk to us about us for the group, we're more than happy to answer those questions, especially for our new listeners. The show is really good. Trust me, you guys are gonna have a blast with this show. It's been awesome. I've been in this show for like a year. It's been amazing this entire year. And these people I've had a chance to know, whole Stacey, Haley, George, Preston, Denny and Denise, Nora, they're all great and wonderful people.
You see, folks, we're not just colleagues, we're family. So I forgot to mention that.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, now you're in the Aaron's Opinion family too. So absolutely.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, Philip. Next.
Right.
Oh, or Haley. Okay.
Yes, you can send my email credentials over to the podcast. You'll all McRae.com for my email. It's there as well.
Excellent. Very, very good. Very good. Okay. Excellent. And good.
Haley
Next.
was gonna go. Haley.
Yeah.
Oh,
Haley.
sorry.
Alrighty, my
Love it.
email is HAYLIEG2780 and you can also subscribe to my email list, BVI Aviators, plus subscribe at groups.io.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
And
Next.
for our email list, I almost forgot, it's Vision-Cast plus subscribe. I forgot to put in hyphen in the
No,
beginning.
you said it. You're fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I
got
did?
it.
Hyphen.
Okay, good.
You put the hyphen. All right, then, Stacey. Is that everyone?
I believe so. It's been quite a night, and I
Yes.
want to say thanks so much for having us on your show, and
You are so welcome here. You are
I
so
would
welcome. And
love
I
to-
just
I would love to extend the invitation to have you on our show.
let's make
Say
that a
that,
reality.
you.
Let's get me on that show as soon as possible because I love
Indeed.
the flavor. Love the flavor. All right.
Yes. Likewise.
Ditto, absolute ditto to all of you. Ditto to Vision Cast. Ditto to JC. Don't worry. I'll add his audio into the. I'll basically I'll basically pencil him in into the audio. I do have his audio. Ditto to all of you guys. Don't forget when you listen to podcasts, you have to spill the milk, and don't. And
That's
don't-
George.
Yeah, that's
Has to
George.
spill the milk.
George, all
Yeah,
the way.
exactly.
That's Miss George.
George.
So let's have a beautiful evening. I will catch up. Stacy, please stay alert for a WhatsApp from me with further info. So
Yep.
ditto to all of you. Absolute honor and pleasure to have you. You trust me when I tell you I am determined to record one-on-one episodes with all of you. I absolutely have to do it. You guys are just too great, and you guys are just so fascinating. All right, guys,
Thank
we'll
you.
catch up later on WhatsApp. All right,
Yep. Looking forward
Thank
to
you
it.
much.
Thank
Talk
you,
soon.
everybody.
Thanks
Thanks so
so
you guys are
much.
so
Thank
welcome
you.
here. And how do I end an episode of Aaron's Opinion? And does anyone know the way I end?
Oh, yeah. I got it.
Go for it.
Help one person today, help a million people tomorrow. And as always, well, keep spreading the love. That's my extra line in there.
I loved it. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, for those of you who are still watching on YouTube and have survived the conversation, thank you. Like I said again, ditto Penny Lawler, ditto Latabo, all these great people, and we'll catch up later. Like it if you like it, comment below, subscribe, tickle the bell notification to know when I go next. Don't forget, watch Vision Cast, definitely something that you need to be listening to. These people are great, I promise. All right. I have to go drink a cup of coffee without milk. I don't put milk, and if I did, I wouldn't spill it. Take
And
care.
no cream either.
No cream. I'm hardcore. I'm a pretty harsh guy. I'm hardcore.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
I
I just
hardcore.
finished
You
drinking
wouldn't
coffee.
want
Black
some.
coffee.
You
What?
wouldn't want some Irish Haleys in there.
I wouldn't mind an Irish coffee. I don't know about getting a spiked drink from Haley, but anyway. Anyway, had to do it to you. Had to do it to you. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. We'll catch up on WhatsApp in a bit. Take
Okay.
care.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Blessings to all. Dittos to all of you. And stay safe out there.
Bye.
Help
Definitely.
one person today. Help a million people.